welcome back to another video where I'm going to be sharing with you how to control your thoughts and why your negative thinking is happening and how to really master it and shift into a place where you are no longer riddled by anxiety or limiting beliefs or self-doubt or any of those nasty mindset gremlins that are keeping you stuck in your day-to-day life. So make sure you stick around until the very end because I'm going to have some really exciting things to share with you and a special bonus training for you that is going to help you master this so much faster. So let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Cara Michelle and I'm here to help you live your truth. And I'm so glad that you're here with me. I am back, you guys. I'm back, baby. Here we go. I'm so excited. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute for sure since I've been on YouTube with so many different things going on in my life, which I will not get into right now, but I'm so excited. I actually cried when I got this whiteboard today because I was like, I can't wait to dive in and start sharing some more stuff with you. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you, and I truly hope this can help you in your life. So on today's video, I'm sharing a lot about how the mind works, and this is hopefully going to explain it in a simplified way that makes sense. Like, I don't want to bore you, even though I think it's super interesting. You might not, so I don't want to get crazy technical, but I do want to help you understand the program of your mind, because our minds are literally just computers and they run on a program. And with our subconscious mind, which rules up to 95% of our life, that gets programmed up until around 7 years old. So everything that we're seeing and perceiving and feeling up until that time gets like stored in there and creates this program. So this is why so many people are still operating in places of fear, or they're holding on to traumas or pains that happened in their early childhood where they felt like they weren't good enough, or they felt like they weren't loved, or they felt like they weren't needed or weren't special or anything like that. Any kind of like being dismissed, or even something as simple as like just being told you did something wrong, even if it came in the most loving way, that to a child and to our developing mind could be really traumatic in making us feel like we're not enough. And that creates this really big subconscious belief, or it has the potential to create a really big subconscious belief that then keeps us trapped in that cycle and in that story. Now, as we get older, we continue playing that programming, we continue playing that out, and I talk about it on another video. It looks like this one. Make sure you check it out where I dive into this specific part of your brain if you're interested in that. But we do have a part called the RAS, and it actually looks for confirmation of what it already believes. So if you have these few memories from childhood where you felt like you were unworthy, your RAS is literally going to look for proof and validation of that in the external world around you, which is why you start to see more of it. And all of a sudden something happens at school, or something happens at work as you get older, or another thing or comment from a family member makes you feel like you're not good enough, and it reinforces that belief. Let me know in the comments if you've ever had a moment where, you thought to yourself, oh my gosh, I did it again, or like, oh, they're saying that too, so this must be true, or like, I'm just not enough. You're validating your own beliefs because of what's happening around you, and usually we end up creating our own story and identity from that place. And what I'm here to do is help you create a new story and help you ultimately break out of that identity, break out of those beliefs that keep you limited in the box that your child self basically created and believes to be your truth. So this is why when you hear things like you create your own reality, it's very, very much true. It's not just like a woo-woo spiritual thing. It's like, it's the truth. Whatever you're perceiving and believing, you're gonna continue picking up that in the world around you, which then validates it as confirmation. And then you're like, oh, of course I knew that, or see, I told you so. I just have bad luck, or I'm never good enough at this, or I can't do that. For me, my story was like, I'm too shy, or my opinion and voice doesn't matter. And I would find more proof of that in experiences where I felt like people kind of ignored me or they talked over me, and that would continue to like hit that inner child, that smaller self of me who's like, oh, it's happening again. This is just my truth and this is who I am. This is forever going to be my life. But it's because I was so focused on that I continued to see it more and ultimately create a little bit more. But if you want to know more about that stuff, check out my playlist for manifestation and law of attraction, because I chat all about that as well. So getting into this diagram here. So what you think. So you're thinking, let's just go with the example I just gave for myself. I'm thinking that my voice doesn't matter. I'm thinking that I don't, not necessarily that I don't have anything good to say, but that people don't respect it or don't really want to hear what I have to say. So say that's what I'm thinking. That's the perception and the lens in which I see myself and I see my role in the world. So this is the perception I'm creating and I'm carrying with me every single day. So I carry this into new workplaces, which is part of why then I'd seem extra shy all the time, because I was like, oh, nobody's really going to listen or care what I have to say anyway. So I'm just going to chill over here. Just kind of like, I immediately played small and held myself back. And I still do that from time to time to this day, but I've got a lot more awareness to shift it much quicker. And it's almost gone. Watch this space. It'll be gone soon, my friend. So that would be my perception, right? Now these thoughts have the power to be either positive or negative. And this is where it can create a positive feedback loop or a negative feedback loop. So in my instance, it was creating a negative feedback loop because I would think the thought, that's supposed to be a star. Just bear with me. It doesn't look any better. So I would think the thought and then I would end up over here, which becomes what I think about. So because I'm thinking already that I'm not enough or that my voice doesn't matter, it becomes what I'm focusing on even more. I'm thinking about it even more. And I'm thinking about it from a really negative space. And now the more that I'm thinking about that, the more it reaffirms my negative perception. So the more time I spend thinking thoughts like my voice doesn't matter or people don't care what I have to say, the more time I spend there, the more it creates that perception and reinforces everything that I'm already feeling. So as I said, this would be like a negative feedback loop because the thought triggers more of it and triggers more memories, more perception. You're focusing on it more because it feels so strong, so heavy, or so frustrating and annoying, and then it just keeps continuing. And it's like a downward spiral, right? We could think of it that way too. Just pulling you down into this cloud or this really negative place. Now, what we want to do, and the whole purpose of this video with controlling your mind, becoming the master, learning how to conquer it, is that we want to create the positive feedback loop. So instead of the downward spiral, we're creating the upward spiral, right? It's exciting. Yay. So the best thing, I don't want to write it down on here because then I'll have to write for a really long time. So the best thing that you can do, actually I'm going to write it down. So step number 1, and this is what I always teach my clients first, especially inside my Conquer Your Mind program, which is my 90-day program, and what we focus on first, because the very first thing you have to do is you have to create awareness. So you have to first become aware that this is even happening, that you're even in a negative feedback loop. Most of us, again, myself included, until I started this journey about 10 years ago and really dove into this work, most of us don't realize that we're in this loop. We don't realize we're in this program. We just think that is the reality or that is the truth, and we just kind of accept it and we're like, this is who I am and I guess I'm stuck here forever. But with awareness, with mindfulness, then you're able to realize like, wait a minute, this is just a freaking story and it doesn't matter at all, and I don't actually have to give my power to it anymore. So awareness is always step number one. And then from that, we want to like reprogram, or what would I say? What's another word for that? Like implant a new story. Because if you start telling a new story with repetition and with proof of it, and I'll get into that in a second, you're going to actually now create a new loop. So you start to create a new identity by practicing the new thoughts. So for instance, let's carry on with my example. I start to create awareness, step number one, of my thoughts. And I start to realize, wait a minute, I'm thinking this negative thought again. I'm going down this negative rabbit hole, this negative spiral, and I want to shift it. Or I just don't want to believe it. I don't want to give my power to it anymore. So I have the awareness that I'm doing it. And the best thing that I would say is ask yourself, is this thought really true? And is this thought serving me? Comment that down below. Is this thought really true? And is this thought serving me? Because you have anywhere from 70,000 to 90,000 thoughts a day. A day. And how many of those are actually serving you? Most likely for the average human being, it's a like drastic percent of the thoughts that aren't serving us at all. They're keeping us limited, keeping us small. So you want to realize that and go, is this thought serving me? And if it isn't, what can you tell instead? That's the step two, right? Implanting a new story. So for me, at the beginning, I didn't have the confidence or the validation of like the opposite, the complete opposite. So my current story was like, my voice doesn't matter, nobody cares what I have to say. If I were to just like implant the story of my voice matters, everyone loves what I have to say, my mind wouldn't believe it, because I've spent a lifetime creating a little storage folder in my subconscious mind to match the opposite belief, right? I've collected so much data over the years of this other reality, this other truth that I believe. So it's not going to just immediately flick the switch over to a positive one. Now, what you can do is meet yourself halfway, or even like a third or a quarter of the way. Just take the baby step. So maybe I can't shift into the belief of my voice matters, everyone loves what I have to say, but I can shift into, you know, this person seems to really appreciate my feedback and that makes me feel good. Or so-and-so always really loves my opinion and like asks for my advice and my voice, so it must matter to them, right? That's a small win. We're looking for like small wins. You can tell that I haven't used a whiteboard in a long time because my writing is very bad. We're looking for small wins at the beginning. So those baby steps, right? Your subconscious mind is not going to believe a totally different story right off the gate, right off the bat. It needs to take progress, like it needs to get there piece by piece. So every single time, this is going to be your challenge, your homework, the exciting work you get to do, that if you do it, it will seriously change your life. I guarantee. And it's actually not as, I mean, it might sound easy. It's going to be challenging in some ways, but it's not that bad. So your homework is that you're going to create the awareness, start paying attention to your thoughts, and when you find yourself going into that downward spiral, catch it. And if you want to know more about how to do that, make sure you check out this video here where I share some of my favorite tools on subconscious reprogramming and doing that exact thing, how to shift in the moment. Okay, so you're going to catch the thought, realize that you're having this, realize, wait, this thought isn't serving me, so I want to choose a different thought, I want to choose a different path. And then you're going to implant in the new story. So create, whether it's like, all you need is one memory. So all you need to tell yourself is, hey, this one time though, it wasn't true. So if you have a really negative story around money and you feel like you're always in debt and like money never comes to you or you never have enough, is there one story, one moment in your life where the opposite was true? If you have the negative money story of always being in debt, find one memory, one example in your life where the opposite was true. When was one time where you felt abundant, or where random money showed up, or where suddenly like you got a promotion, or there was a gift, or there was something that was really positive that showed the opposite? If you're telling the story that you can't ever find like a partner, a good man or good woman, like I always told that story for myself, well then I continued to attract and see more of it. So what you want to do is, if you have a lot of negative experiences in your memory bank built up and stored up there, find one example. Is there one man you've met in the world who was genuine and caring and loving and kind and all the good things? Or one woman who matched exactly what you were looking for? Is there one person who exemplified what it is you desire? Because that one memory, that one person, that one example from your life is what's going to allow you to slowly transition from that negative feedback loop to the positive feedback loop by shifting what you believe is possible. So all it takes is one example. And this is why so many of like the richest people in the world, the most successful and the happiest, not just like successful, like crazy rich, but like seriously, genuinely happy, they all talk about how they found inspiration from like one person. Like if that one person can do it, then that gives me proof and validation that with work or effort or time or practice, I can do it too. And that's literally all we need. No one had ever like achieved a 4-minute mile, maybe? Is that what it was? No one had ever achieved this certain amount, but the second one person hit it, like a whole bunch of other people hit it too right after. And that's because it's like once we have that validation, or once we have that proof of the new story, once we have the proof of the new possibility, the new potential reality, boom, we can make it happen. But if we don't even have any proof, or if we're so focused on the negative, if we're so focused on our limiting story, then we can't see any of those possible realities around us. I think that's enough, but what I want to end this with, and if you are still here, what I really recommend or highly suggest for you is make sure you check out my free mindset training, because I do talk about this negative feedback loop in there as one of the key steps and key things where you can shift fast to create a new story for yourself. Because we've all been there, we all have these limiting stories in all areas of our life, and unfortunately we're always going to have them forever and ever. But the beautiful thing is that we do have the power to create that awareness and start implanting in to reprogram the new story. So whatever you're going through right now, please know you're not alone. Please know that you do not have to stay there, even though it feels so incredibly real. It feels real because that's how your brain is programmed to work. So you have the opportunity here to start to work kind of against that programming, and start installing in the new software, creating that upward spiral and getting yourself to the mindset and the life that you truly want. So check out that training if you want extra support, and my 3-step process where I break this down even more. And if you found this video helpful, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know your biggest takeaways. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them there as well. I'm always checking in on the comment section, and then I can create more videos to help you with this. So thank you so much, and I will see you on the next video.